Hello and welcome back to my channel, Supercoach Challenges. Today we will be going through the round 13 review. And it wasn't a great round for us, but we did go up in rank, so that's something. And it actually points to the fact that there are a lot of teams struggling through the buys. But before we get into the team and have a look at how we fared with our players, I'd like to give a thank you to everyone who watched the last video, cracked 150 views, first time. Might not seem like much, but it's good to see some videos finally getting traction and us getting some new faces and a good average watch time. So thanks to all the people watching out there. If you'd like to subscribe, you obviously get to watch more of my content, and it was great to see. So I'd just like to thank you all for that. So anyway, we scored 1,867, season rank change of 577. So we went up, so that's good. But there was a few players that failed. We didn't hit the captain, which hurt, but nevertheless, we moved forward. We're getting closer to fixing the team up, and we had one major success, which was great. And it was good to see that one come off. So getting into the team. Sorry about the tab change just then. So I guess the picks last week. Let's have a quick talk about them. So looking at the history, we brought in Keays and Lloyd, Zeeble, Chandler, and Baker. So Baker actually got dropped and put a sub, so that was probably an all right pick. He scored. What did he score? He must have scored the 11. Yeah, 11. Great. We didn't have him. Chandler, I think he didn't play too bad. Yeah, 57, so not too bad. And we also traded Zeeble out, who did score 107, but the player we brought in Ben Keays, went actually better. So that was great. Steele and Lloyd both outscored Chandler, although Lloyd looked like he was going to make a hard job of getting anything above 40. Really sad to see he was getting a wing position. But anyway, he's in the team now. We're going to stick with it. It was a fun trade for a reason, and I think that Blakey's out this week, and that will at least see an uptick next week, hopefully. So at least that's something going for us. But yeah, the big one, and Steele had a bit of an average game as well. Him and Lloyd played a lot the same, really. And then Keays had 115, which was great because we said in the last video that he was probably the one to get out of the mid prices, and he ended up scoring the most. So, I mean, it was against West Coast. They were very bad, very, very bad. Tex kick 10, which was good to see. But I actually missed the game. I didn't get to see much of this at all. I was out camping for the long weekend and had no reception, so I couldn't even see how my team was scoring, couldn't see what the captain's VCs are looking like. I got a quick flash every now and then, like when we went to the pub for dinner one night, but other than that, not much there. So moving to the team, and just on this I guess, there was a lot of disappointing scores, I guess. I'd say that the main disappointments were bringing Lloyd and Steele in, and then both scoring quite low. I think that Lloyd, and especially after we said about Lloyd's consistency, now one of the problems with Lloyd this week was the fact that he got put on a wing, but with Blakey going out, like he had a 40-point last quarter, which boosted him so much when Blakey went injured. So with a concussion, so that means Lloyd scores well this week. But the rest of the defense, I mean, Shees will bounce back decently. Like, I'd probably prefer still having him with that 98. And Dacos and Day, good to see him get back over 100. That's great. And Dacos got that late goal, which really helped to boost him. Chincotta just doing what he can. Going to the midfield, we went with the captain on Brayshaw, which turned out not to be great. I thought he'd go really well against Richmond, but it looks like, I mean, Taranto is just on fire. Mid-forward, outscoring most of the midfielders here. And was the pick of the bunch other than Laird. I think you'll see in the comments below the last video, I was kind of talking about it with the Duke, about whether we should go Laird or Dawson. I did say Laird was probably the safer one, but I felt like Dawson was going to have that ceiling game. And it, to be fair, I think he was probably negatively affected by the fact Tex kicked 10 and he had 200 Supercoach points. And it's like, well, if he's got 200, I mean, we need to spread these points out somehow else. And because he had a 34 disposal game, it was just a little bit inefficient, some frees given away, more handballs than kicks, and it just really didn't work out for him. But nevertheless, really happy with the midfield other than Steele and Warple. At least we're getting rid of Warple this week. He went up, so that's good. He hit that break even, and it's good time to trade him out. And Steele, hopefully he can just get over whatever he's dealing with and come good in the back end. Witts didn't play. Sampson, I saw none of this, honestly, and looks like he just went horrid. And I'm actually thinking I'm going to have to trade him out this week because, it's just not great. And we really need the money. And I'm thinking we're just going to have to do it. Darcy did not play, and he's going to miss this week, which sucks because we would have just put him straight on. But I think they have confirmed he'll be back next week. Possibly Briggs was the right choice. Well, he was, but yeah, it's hard to pick those things. And I was trying to manage the trades at that point, but we'd have one less trade or one less player in. Maybe we'd have missed Lloyd or something, which would have been good. But it was a bad buy as well. So Darcy back next week covers us for that buy, which is good at least. And then the forward line was just really average other than Keays. Forward at least bounced back. That was something nice to see. But Keays, 115. He kicked a goal. His CBAs were down. He had 55% CBAs, which, looking at the game, I obviously didn't watch it, but what I could kind of think happened, because Sloan also lost about 20%. Guys like Pedler and Saligo got an uptick. The main Dawson and Laird stayed pretty high, but I feel like maybe with Keays and Sloan, they said, look, we're absolutely destroying West Coast. Let's just get some boys through there and see who can actually maybe be a future midfielder in there. And that's why Keays, although getting 55%, which I'm still quite happy with, to be honest, they did drop from that 70% the week before. And in saying that, he still won his highest score of the year. So 115, very happy with. And as I tweeted on just before the weekend, I think, so when the teams came out. So if you do want to follow me, get on Twitter, give us a follow. Links in the description for that. Keazy was named on the bench, which turned a lot of people off. They thought maybe he was getting, that forward role. But if you'd looked at Keays' previous games and where he'd been lined up, he'd actually been lined up a lot in the on the bench. And a lot of his high scores have actually come from when he was in the bench / forward line. He was actually named as a follower in his lowest scoring game this year, which was against maybe Brisbane. He had a 40 or something. So actually it was the Dogs. It was against the Dogs. So that was in Ballarat. Yes, I know. But I think that with Keays, you couldn't really look at the lineup that the Crows were naming to know his position. Now, in saying that, do I think he's going to score like this every week going forward? No. But hopefully he keeps a 95, 100 average, 90 to 95 maybe. And that would be great. That's all we want. He's obviously going to be getting some tagging chops here and there, go forward. But he showed he can kick goals playing forward. And if he can figure out a little bit of his kicking, it could be great. Really great for us. And that's all I have to say on that one. I guess the only other one we miss is probably at this point is Himmelberg. It's now been confirmed that Kingsley said they tried him up forward and they're going to shift him back where he's been playing his best footy. Why they didn't do that the whole year, we'll never know, but it's a cheap player we can now pick up, which is great. Defender forward status is also great and looks like he's going to be locked in that role. So I think that's going to be a future guy we aim for in this team. Not sure if I'll get him this week. We'll see how we look. Now, looking at the round 13, 3, 2, 1. So we're going to give the one to Timmy Taranto, 136. I know he's high price, but you know what? There weren't too many bright spots in this team. And I think guys like Dacos kick late goals. That was a great game, by the way. If anyone watched that Melbourne Collingwood game, I did not want it to end. It was so, so good. and really can't wait to watch those two teams play in finals. But moving on from that, I didn't see Day play, so couldn't really comment. And look, honestly, I'm just going off like 136 Torino, 156 Laird, and 115 Keays on debut. So Laird is the 2 vote, and Keays is getting the 3 with the 115 on debut. Now, moving on from that, we got to look at what we're going to do this week, and you'll hear the clicking of the pen in the background there. But what I need to figure out now is how we move forward. So if we optimize and see what the team is on, we are probably looking at, let's go round 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, Constable won't play, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16. But this is where we can make some trades. So Warple, and I think that's probably a definite 16, which is good. That's without like some of these other guys getting a game. And Darcy will be back next week, which is great. Now, I kind of want to hold Weddle another week. And really, I'd love to hold Mitchell as well. They've both got really low break evens, which is great. They got a lot of money to make. But I'm going to have to trade one of them. And I feel like Weddle's seems to be playing on average a bit better. I mean, the points reflect that. And I think I'm going to keep him a little longer. So if we're just going to go for, and so we're going to go Warple, Mitchell, and then we're going to go Ryan. All right, so they're the 3. Which leaves us with 2.3. And we're going to have to check what our premium numbers look like after this. But yeah, it should be all right. So we can switch Madden up to right forward. And that's good because I was thinking I was going to be forced to get Darcy Cameron this week and have a play miss. But that doesn't look like it's going to be the case, which is good because we should be able to get him next week. So this puts us in an interesting position because I'm going to have to look at the trade players after we make the trades. But who it would be nice to have is Josh Dunkley, but 680 seems like the top. Like, it really seems like the top. He's going to get to 700. And I think he could get to 700. I think he'll go 130-ish, which will get him pretty damn close. And if he goes like 160, even 150, he's definitely getting over it. And we've seen Bont has started to drop. Whether that's injury related, we don't know. But I think Dunkley's going to be the luxury one at the end, sadly. I probably should have gone him when I planned to a few weeks ago. But fell off of that for whatever reason. I don't know what. Honestly, I can't track things with this. It's really annoying to see Wangan and Malira actually coming to such good form because I probably would have kept him because they got a good run. But sometimes you get unlucky. Like, that's a 34-point difference just there. So that's the game. Sometimes that is the game. So let's have a look. I really don't actually like any of the choices this week, to be honest. Like, there's nothing I really like from these two teams. We go average. It's just a dog's breakfast, right? I really think the players are all Sinclair's there, though. So I actually don't mind that one. He's got a good run. So I think I'm going to put Sinclair in. Yeah, that's good. Got that we didn't have him. And that's good because we can kind of keep. That's nearly a set defense now if Day goes into there. So that's good. I mean, the only one we're missing is Dawson, but he's dropping. So we can wait. Well, actually, we can probably get him next week, which is good. Could be primed to be picked up. And that leaves us, let's have a look at mids and forwards. Well, get out, Connor. All right, so I'm kind of wanting Liver. But I don't know whether the buy's going to allow us. And I kind of wouldn't mind getting... So if we have a look at this, I probably don't want someone who plays this week. This begs the question, do we go like a Caleb Daniel? That's pretty expensive. I mean, if we go Caleb Daniel, Leaves us with 1.1 already. And there's some good players with their prices under. And when we'll probably pick another primo here, and then we'll get to those players that are under 200k. I think there's a couple that could score fairly well. Like we've obviously missed Wardlaw, sorry, and Matthew Johnson. They both look really good. I think Johnson's going to be affected a bit by Amira back, so that's something to keep in mind. Otherwise, I'm not sure about his scoring with O'Meara back, because I think he'll lose some CBAs. But I did hear he only had 61% time of ground, so maybe he gets a bit more time of ground. I don't know. I'm not sure. So let's look at the mids we've got. So on the 5 round, I mean, Zach Butters is probably coming down though. What's his break even? 144. So we could probably wait on him till after the bye if we want him, which seems like a decent idea. Libba is 88 break even, has North, and that kind of makes me want to get him. Clary. Now, Clary is out, and I don't think he plays. It's a buy anyway, but hopefully he plays round 15 actually, because we could maybe get him or just wait another round and see if he loses some money. McRae would have been nice, but I'd probably rather get Libba out of these two. Law had a nice game, but I mean, Taron Thomas would have been real nice if he played at the start of the year. Now I don't think you can go near him because I believe he's got a court case coming up, and feels like the type of player who could get in trouble. So maybe just leave that one there. Sammy Walsh is just losing money like no tomorrow. Ollie Wines, I don't know about him. I think that some people have gone in, but he seems like you're going to have to flip him. Cogs, 103, not great. So what can we get? Zeeps, difference in money here. So we made it 70 grand on that trade already. That's nice. And points. Not many, but still some. I believe Zeebel's break even still pretty high. 118. Guess that's pretty gettable for him. I think Darcy Cameron's going to be who we go next week as that ruck cover, but also playing in the forward line. Ben Hobbs had quite a good game. That's actually pretty interesting from him, but I feel like he's going to be affected by Parrish when he's back. No, nothing really else. So if we look at this based on no buys, what do we got? I don't know why players are looking forward. So Dunkley would be the one you want, right? After that, it's not that great. Who's averaging well for the year? So yeah, Dawson's obviously here, 115. Libba's actually doing better. It really makes me want to push for Libba, I think. I think that is what I'll do. So Libba is at 601, which is quite decent. I mean, it's a little bit above what you could have got him at the start of the year, but still pretty good. And now we'll go to forwards. All right. Let's look at these players under 200k. So, Sheldrick played really, really well in a mid role. The only problem I see with him is that Sydney were missing a few players. So that I feel like he's probably going to get moved around once Parker's back in now. So maybe just wait on that one. And see what happens this week. Even if he gets named, where is he being named to play? Harvey Harrison, 59. So that's he played fairly well, I thought, considering it was a big game and it was only his second game, so that was quite good. He'll be a nice pickup after the bye if he keeps playing. Marich, I think this is probably who you'd pick above Harrison. We're not going to need too many downgrades, and I feel like Marich is just going to keep playing. Sorry, just not the mic. I heard that the Sydney forward kicked like 5 goals in the VFL, so that's something to think about as well. But yeah, I didn't get to see the game, but I think Marich kicking 2 goals or whatever he did against the Crows and when they were getting belted is quite good. But I wouldn't go early because we're already seeing that Ocean Mullen is going to miss next week, and he probably won't get a spot in the side now with all these players coming back. I think it was just released that Geelong are bringing back Danger, Reece Stanley, Holmes, Bowes, and Mitch Duncan, all going to be available in the next game. And that puts guys in doubt like Nevitt and Mullen, Parfitt, guys like that. So Simpson, if you still have Simpson, he's probably going to be out. I'm really hoping that Nevitt gets another game because he played really well his last game. And I feel like they should, as I've said on my Twitter, I feel like they should be getting games into some of these young boys because their old boys aren't going to be around all the time. They really need to do that. So just keep that in mind. Sturt played, I thought he played decent. He went down money, but that was because he played the sub the week before. If he does get a game, it's an easy-ish matchup. So hopefully he does. Spicer continues to get game time, bad scoring. Probably wouldn't go near him considering that they have the bye next week. Sim got subbed out. And these Reef McInnes, Jesus, lost 62k. No good. Dane True's also lost money. And it just seems like guys like that are probably you want to stay away from. You're probably going to go Marich just to maximize that money. But if the young lad from Sydney does, so him and Marich are going to hit the bubble at the same time if he gets a game this week and he plays the next week as well. So we're going to be able to gauge which of those two are the ones to get. I'd probably say Marich would be still the one just based on the fact his job security is probably pretty sound. Whereas Sydney could have some players come back, but we'll have to see how the lad from Sydney plays. What's his name? Who's Sydney? So Buller, Jack Buller. He's the guy they picked up in the mid-year draft, and he played quite well. So something to keep in mind. So but the one that I'm actually going to pick up, but I'm just going to check that there isn't anyone better in defense. Josh Fahey actually played really well. Problem's going to be if he keeps his spot. Melican also played well, but elevated price. And then O'Donnell was subbed out. And no, was he subbed out? Yeah, he was. Yeah, O'Donnell was subbed out because everyone thought it was going to be Arthur Jones who didn't get a touch, but he went with O'Donnell. So bit of hard luck for him. I think that Jones actually ended up with no touches in the end as well. And D'Ambrosio is just the guy on the buy sub player for them. Sorry, bloody buy player. So yes, Fahey played a good game, but will he keep his spot on the wing? I'm not so sure. I mean, they did give Angwin a good run through there, and his defensive mid, which is a nice little positional DPP. So that's also good. Do you have any straight mids? Oh, Devin Robinson had an 84. What's his break even at? He's down quite a bit of money. Interesting. After a -1 and 0, what's his break even? 25. Devin Robinson's actually an interesting one to keep in mind. If he gets a game, maybe actually get him. He's elevated though, so that's something else. But he has shown that he can score at around a 300k mark. And if he's got a spot, the Brisbane have a nice run of games at the Gabba. Even the one game away is at Marvel, so he could play quite well. Brisbane did lose on the weekend, but they did have some injuries, so I'm not sure whether they'll swing the axe or not, but they've always played bad out of the bye anyway, so even though they did lose to Hawthorn, but he did play quite well, so just keep him in mind. But I'm thinking that the one we pick is Windhager. Now, this is mostly because he's got a little bit better DPP, which is nice, and he's played his bye, obviously, and he actually got a lot of the ball. I think if we look at his AFL his Supercoach 2 fantasy Oh Jesus, there's a. It's, if we look at that, the gap between there, I think his disposal was quite good. So we go to 2023. So yeah, he had a 66 AFL fantasy. He had 15 disposals, and he did have a lot of it early as well. 3 clearances, but 4 clangers didn't help, and the 3-4-3 against wasn't great either. But I think he could be quite good. He was absolutely tearing it up in the VFL and forced himself in. But the only other one outside of Windhager is Bytel if he does get a game. I believe he was concussed last week, which is why he didn't get a shot. But yeah, keep Jack Bytel in mind because he has also been playing very well. The other reason I like Windhager over Robinson, I guess they do actually both have pretty easy runs, but Windhager is supposed to be very, very easy. And hopefully he should keep his spot. So we make these trades. And that leaves us with around 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there's 18, which is nice. And this is actually quite a good projection, I think. Well, Gordon's got a very high projected score. I'd probably be looking at VCing. Bont has the last game, so I'd probably look at maybe captaining Libba. And we could VC Geelong at Adelaide Oval, not great for Stewart. Racial v GWS. Wits v Pitnet, maybe not. I'm not really sure about the Rosie pick. So maybe we'll just go on Sinclair versus Richmond could be right. Ugh. I don't love the choices we had this week, not gonna lie. Maybe I just go Neil against Sydney. That seems like a safe-ish VC that can spike. But yeah, we're kind of set up for the next week. Yeah, 5, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Assuming they all play. And then looking at round 15, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Possibly 17. Chess actually did play last week, so that's also something. I think he had a 41, which is like his highest score this year. So, yeah, 41. Oh, second highest score, sorry. But it was as sub, so that's actually decent. So anyway, that's just my thoughts for this week. Not too much else to be made now. If we look at our team properly, full side, led in. That's all right. Darcy's on. So we need 3 more positions pretty much with 7 trades, which we can do, I reckon. Because that's what, 300, 300, 300. So, yeah, we're looking all right, to be honest. It looks like we will be able to finish the team pretty easily. Hesson can go up to there. Weddle goes into a midfielder. Goulden, Humphrey can upgrade easily as well. And then that leaves us with Ford. And we should be able to do maybe 1 or 2 more trades. So that'll give us 4 trades left over. And I might even go into like a Himmelberg after his buy. I think Himmelberg, Darcy Cameron, and another mid forward. And this team's set and we should have money left over. So we might be able to even upgrade like a day or I mean, I don't mind a day, but like Horn Francis probably can definitely go up. And we might have a few trades left over. I might try and get some loops on the bench and we'll look good for the rest of the year. So thanks for watching. I'd like to say again, thank you all for watching the last video. 150 views, finally hit that mark. Hopefully onward and upward from here. I hope you've enjoyed the progress of the team so far. Obviously hasn't been great. Like the scoring hasn't been great, but we know where to go a little bit better with next year. 110k rank. Hopefully we can keep catching some spots up and getting a decent score. And hopefully keep climbing the ranks. 1928 seems like a decent projection, and hopefully we can get a lot higher than that. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. I might do a team lineups video when they come out, probably Thursday. But otherwise, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.